These are 10 times the Simpsons went too far. Bart almost makes Homer lose his life due to his stubbornness. Bart the Daredevil starts with Homer and Bart wanting to go to the monster truck rally. Marge reminds them of Lisa's recital on Saturday.
I advise you to start looking for a child therapist on Sunday.
At least she's aware of the effects of Homer's neglect on her. But Homer is adamant since the rally's one day only.
Cruel fate, why do you mock me?
Marge says they can make it to both since Lisa's recital is earlier in the day, but halfway through, Homer can't wait for it to end.
Sit down, Homer.
How much longer was Sherbert planning on making this piece of junk?
He means Schubert, I hope. Homer drives like a maniac to get to the rally, but when they get there, they can't find a spot.
Truckosaurus!
Where?
That thing's about to crush your entire family. They survive, somehow, and stay for the show. Bart really got into the whole dangerous sports thing, and dreams of being the one in the ring.
When he's not in class, he's risking his ass. The world's greatest daredevil, Bart Simpson.
Marge is not gonna like this. The next day, Bart tries to pull a stunt, but he gets hurt and ends up in the hospital. Dr. Hibbert tells him that he might have something that will discourage Bart's reckless behavior. He takes him to see the kids who got hurt by doing dangerous stunts.
It's a small price to pay for countless hours of top-notch entertainment.
But he just ruined the whole point. Bart continues to try and pull the dangerous jump, and he succeeds. But soon, jumping over cars got too boring and easy, so he had to find a real challenge. And boy did he find it! The Springfield Gorge. He shares his idea with Otto.
I feel I should say something.
What?
Cool!
Who gave him the license to be around children? Bart announces to everyone that he'll be making the big leap, and Lisa tries to reason with him, but he ain't listening. She even took him to see Lance Murdoch, the daredevil who inspired Bart, but he ain't much help.
Let me start by saying, good for you, son. It's always good to see young people taking an interest in danger.
I beg your pardon. Are there no responsible adults in the whole town of Springfield? Lisa has no other choice but to tell on him, but Bart won't listen to Homer and Marge. He has set his intention, and he's gonna do it.
You're his father. You've got to try and reason with him.
No, that never worked. He's a goner.
As if Homer ever tried reasoning with Bart. If reasoning is choking, then yes. Homer tells Bart that he has to promise him that he won't do it, and Bart promises, and 3 seconds later runs out the window.
Why, that little liar? Shut up. I was gonna play pickle with him.
Homer gets to the gorge and stops Bart. He tells him that he's tried everything, and the only thing left for him to do is jump the gorge himself.
You'll see what it's like to witness a family member stupidly risking his life for no good reason.
That's an interesting parenting hack. Bart stops him and tells him he won't jump if he doesn't jump, and Homer's relieved. But the skateboard rolls down the hill, and just as he thought he'd make it, he falls. Thankfully, he didn't die, but he's broken every bone in his body.
You think you got guts? Try raising my kids.
Couldn't be more accurate than this. Being an adrenaline seeker ain't such a good thing at Homer's big ol' age, but neither is giving up a kidney. Homer doesn't want to give his kidney to Abe, even though he's in a life-or-death situation. Homer Simpson in kidney trouble starts when Homer takes his family on a road trip to a ghost town. When it's time to leave, Grandpa asks Homer if he can go to the bathroom, but Homer's in a rush. All the way back home, Grandpa's begging Homer to make a stop, but he won't listen.
Can I go behind a tree? Are you an animal?
No, you're the animal. Abe begs and begs, but there's no changing Homer's mind.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to my old dad.
This man's kidneys have exploded.
Well, Homer, you've officially done it all, killing your father included.
I blame myself for this.
We all blame you.
She said what everyone was thinking. Homer says he'll donate one of his kidneys to Grandpa so he can survive. But after his friends freak him out about the danger of the operation, he starts having second thoughts.
Why didn't somebody tell me what I was volunteering for? This is everybody's fault but mine.
Here's a thought. Maybe if you let your dad go to the loo, you wouldn't be having this problem now. Marge relaxes Homer by reminding him that he's doing this for the man who raised him, and Homer calms down. But he makes her promise that she'll grant his wish if he dies.
Blow up the hospital.
I said I'd do it, so I guess I'll have to.
Marge, forever Homer's accomplice. It's the day of the surgery, and just as they were about to put Homer to sleep, he runs away.
Leaving his father to die? Even I wouldn't do that, and I'm America's bad boy.
Are you sure about that, Bart? Homer feels awful for what he did, but fear is much greater than his conscience. He decides to live on the sea and become a sailor, captain, whatever job they give him.
Welcome aboard the ship of lost souls.
The name on the back says Honey Bunch.
He meets the ensemble, and they're all indeed lost souls, people who made mistakes and are now running from them. Homer shares his story, and they all think he's disgusting and despicable for what he did to his father. One of them tells Homer he's going to be sick after listening to his story.
I stole this accordion from a blind monkey. But you disgust even me!
They throw him off the ship and he's washed on a shore. Homer realizes that he can't live in fear and he goes back to the hospital.
I'm going to show my family the kind of man I really am. All right, I'm gonna...
Any minute now. Grandpa was on the brink of death when Homer showed up.
The way I behaved was shameful. I guess fear made me run away, but love made me come back.
Let's see how long he lasts this time. Just as Dr. Hibbert was about to give him a shot, Homer ran away again. He almost gets hit by a truck outside the hospital.
Boy,
At the risk of sounding mean, but you get what you deserve. When Homer woke up, he apologized for running away again, and he assumes Grandpa is dead.
we'll visit his grave. Grave nothing! I never felt more alive!
Wait for it. Wait for it.
You butchers! Give it back! Give me that! I'll get my kidney back, old man!
Guess he isn't as selfless as he thought. But stealing a kidney from a man who really gave all signs of not wanting to go through the surgery, not the best move, Simpsons. You know nothing about consent? Apparently not. And neither's Homer. Marge wants to make her own business, but when things don't go so well, Homer gets the mob involved. The twisted world of Marge Simpson opens when Marge is kicked off the Investorette Club after she thought it was too risky to invest in high-risk ventures. When she told this to Homer, he didn't think it was a big deal. Homer asks Marge why she even wants to make money anyway.
As long as I have my earning power, this family's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's not really convincing, coming from a man who sleeps at his job. Lisa tells her that this is no time to be conservative, and she should roll the dice, see what happens. Marge agrees, and says she wants to beat Helen and the others at their own game. She goes to the fair to see in which business she might invest, and she finds one, a pretzel business. The whole family helps Marge set up her business.
It's one of those pretzel wagons the movie stars are always talking about.
Here? At our plant?
Wow, you could really sell any story to these people.
Mom, look at all those customers.
Here nuts, everyone.
At least Marge does her job responsibly. Then, Helen and her posse usurp Marge's territory with their flashy van.
There must be dozens of great locations in this town. Don't you worry about me.
Yeah, Marge, keep telling yourself that. Marge tries and tries, but without success.
I was wrong to have a dream. I mean, if you're nothing special, why kid yourself?
If Marge thinks she's nothing special, what should the rest of us be thinking?
Aim so low, no one will even care if you succeed.
And that's just pressing. Homer sees that his wife needs help, but he knows he's not the one that's capable of giving it to her.
I've never reached out to you before, but my wife is in her hour of need.
Okay.
For a second there, I thought he was praying. Marge gets a call for 300 pretzels that night.
Wake up, I'm back in business.
I had a feeling things would work out for you, honey.
Fat Tony and his crew help Marge get her business up by sabotaging any competition she might have. Ultimately, they blew up Helen's food truck, but no good deed is done for selfless reasons. Fat Tony comes to Homer to ask for a favor in return.
You mean the mob only did me a favor to get something in return? Oh, Fat Tony!
Is he really that oblivious, or does he just not know how the mob works? Fat Tony gets to Marge and tells her that she owes them money, and that she should maybe have a chat with her husband.
Homer, did you tell the Mafia they could eliminate my competitors with savage beatings?
Homer confesses immediately. At least he's honest. Marge is very much pissed, because Homer went behind her back, but he says he did what any loving husband would do.
I reached out to some violent mobsters.
Marge calms down, but she says she's not giving them a penny. So, when the mob comes, she stood firm in her choice. Then, Maude, Helen, and the others come with backup.
Perhaps you've heard of the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia?
So they're gonna start a mob war over pretzels. Yes, they are. The mobsters start fighting and Homer and Marge get inside the house. Homer says he feels bad because every time he tries to help, he fails.
Oh, I don't hate you for failing. I love you for trying.
Bart and Lisa come downstairs and ask what's going on.
Oh, it's just a mob war. Go back to sleep, honey.
Yeah, just a regular Thursday. People do all sorts of weird things for money, and that's what we see when Homer does humiliating stunts for Mr. Burns so he can make money to support his family. Homer versus Dignity starts with the Simpsons not being able to pay for their meal, so they try to dine and dash, but they get caught.
So we can't pay for your precious food. What are you gonna do about it?
That's pretty embarrassing, if you ask me. Marge is really feeling desperate.
When did we become the bottom rung of society?
The moment you had kids. Homer feels bad that he can't provide for the family, so he wants to ask Mr. Burns for a raise. He asks him, and Mr. Burns wants to be wowed.
I don't want to hear your whining. I'm a bored and joyless old man.
Homer begins to tell Mr. Burns jokes, but he's not impressed. He tells him to throw pudding at Lenny.
But he's a war hero.
Well, let's decorate him then.
Oh, that's some sick humor you have there, Mr. Burns. Homer won't do it, but then Mr. Burns offers him an attractive amount.
Not even for
$4?
Oh, Homer, you've sunk very low. Homer becomes Mr. Burns' prank monkey. And even though Homer is embarrassing himself, Mr. Burns is having a lot of fun.
You're so much more fun than Smithers. Why, he doesn't know the meaning of the word gay.
I think Smithers is the only person in the show who knows the real meaning of the word gay. Mr. Burns really went out of his way to embarrass Homer.
Baby made a boom boom.
Oh, good heavens! Oh!
Here you go, monkey.
Now that's just disgusting. But the worst thing of all is yet to come. Mr. Burns makes Homer dress as a panda in the zoo. Wouldn't be so bad if only Homer didn't get tased by the zoo employees.
Something's wrong. Terribly wrong.
Hey, there's our resident bull panda, Ping Ping.
It seems as though Homer's gonna have a close-up biology lesson, and Mr. Burns is doing nothing to stop it. After God knows what happened behind those curtains, Homer manages to escape, but Lisa sees him and realizes he was the panda.
Did you see Daddy dance? They all saw me dance.
Oh, Dad.
That's one hell of a view for a little girl to have of her father. Homer tells Lisa everything.
I humiliate myself for fistfuls of cash.
Oh, Dad, you have to stop.
Mr. Burns comes over, and Homer tells him he could start treating him with some respect, but he knows everyone has a price. When Homer accepts the money but tells Mr. Burns where he can go, you know what I mean, Mr. Burns has a revelation.
It looks like my monkey has evolved into a man. A poor man.
So not only has Homer lost all dignity, he lost any chance of having more money. Lisa tells Homer he can donate that money to charity. So he does, and he gets offered a place at the Thanksgiving parade. But Mr. Burns has to show up and ruin everything. Mr. Burns finds out that he is Father Christmas.
We have an opportunity to bend this town over our knee and give it a pranking it will never forget.
What's he up to now? Homer says no, but then Mr. Burns offers him $1 million.
But Santa can't be evil. But it's so much money.
Homer, it's one thing to disappoint your family. You do that every day. Don't disappoint these poor children.
He seems to be hurling some sort of candy treats, Lisa.
That is not candy. That's fish guts.
Oh, that's a Thanksgiving to remember. Lisa realizes what happened.
Oh, Dad, you sold your soul.
Not yet, honey.
Apparently, Homer's not a completely lost cause. It's Mr. Burns on the float.
Let's just say Lisa gave me an early Christmas present. The gift of dignity.
Having dignity is important, but so is keeping your good karma. And the writers definitely lost some when they wrote this next episode. Bart gets a horse and enters the world of horse racing, only to be threatened by elfish-looking people. Saddlesore Galactica starts with a family going to a fair, and unlike any normal family coming back from it, with a horse. Yep, they saved a horse from being, Marge points out the fact that keeping Duncan is gonna cost them a lot.
But he'll bring us joy, Marge. Unlike all your silly gewgaws.
You mean the house appliances that you all use? Nut Homer has prepared for everything. Homer tells Marge that her pro-mop anti-horse agenda was clear to him from the start.
But don't worry, I have a way for Duncan to earn his keep.
If you thought Homer meant horse racing, you'd be wrong.
Now let's look in the rule book and see if horses can play in the NFL.
And if you thought that Homer was stupid enough to think a horse could join the NFL, you'd be right. Bart, finally, suggests horse racing. Bart asks Homer to hire a professional trainer, but Homer is against the idea.
Son, I learned everything I needed to know from the horse whisperer.
Okay, maybe he actually knows something and you won't just whisper into the horse's ears.
When the race starts, run really fast.
Nope, spoke too soon. The race starts, and even though the odds are bad, Bart believes in Duncan.
Duncan, the horse no one expected to do anything, isn't doing anything.
Bart tells him he believes in him, and Duncan starts running like the wind.
He's showing more heart than any horse I've ever seen. What a shame the race is already over.
Well, better luck next time. Homer and Bart come up with a plan to give Duncan a new attitude and a new persona.
Ladies, say hello to...
Furious D?
Well, he looks different, I'll give him that.
Ew, you used my bracelet for a nose ring.
Possessions are fleeting,
says the most materialistic man alive. Bart enters Duncan in a new race, and he's flying through air.
Hang on to your monocles, cause Furious D is closing like a horse possessed.
Duncan wins. And not only this race, but every race that came in after. This led Homer to being invited to the Jockey's Lounge for some drinks.
I've been waiting all my life to hear that.
You mean since last Tuesday? What he thought was going to be drinks turned out to be a trip to Jockeyland. They are actually little elves. Or they just look like elves. It wasn't really specified.
But you're respected athletes. You own car dealerships and marry beauty queens.
We're freaks.
You sure are. They make Homer promise that Duncan will lose the next game or they'll eat Homer's brain. Yes, true story. So Homer tells Bart that he must lose.
But you always taught me that winning was everything.
Sorry, Homer, can't go against your own word. Homer realizes he can't take this away from Bart or from Duncan.
I'll deal with those murderous trolls.
Huh?
I'll deal with those murderous trolls.
Nope, still the same. Bart is in the lead and the other jockeys start abusing him, but Duncan won't let this slide.
In a bizarre twist, a horse is abusing a jockey. Might this be the start of a terrifying Planet of the Horses?
I think you have bigger problems on your hands as a country, but who am I to judge? Duncan wins, but this is not the end. The jockeys start chasing them because Homer crossed them.
Hey, need any help, Homer?
No, we're cool.
Never thought I'd hear that coming out of Homer's mouth.
Yeah, please. We'll give you gold.
So is that a final conclusion? They're elves? Elves have gold, right? Joking about little people and comparing them to elves isn't in the best taste, but neither are suicide jokes. Moe tries to end it all once again, but things take a turn when he gets a new suit. Whiskey business starts in Moe's bar, and Moe is trying to talk to the guys, but they're ignoring him.
Who am I kidding? They don't care about me.
So he takes a step he's been thinking about for years.
Suicide. Finally.
The writers maybe shouldn't have shown this so explicitly.
Begging you, please! Please show me some love!
Oh, Moe. Has the day finally. And even at his lowest, Moe's got to start threatening.
I'll show you who's a moron.
If a chance. Homer, Lenny, and Carl hear a thud and run to see what happened. Homer starts resuscitating Moe to the "How Deep Is Your Love" song.
Are you sure it wasn't staying alive?
2 on the nose.
I don't think that's what's important now. Moe wakes up and he's fine, thankfully. Then Marge comes in and here's what happened. She suggests that they should take Moe on a road trip so he can feel better. They make a trip to Capital City.
Gentleman's whorehouse. Whoa.
No, it's a warehouse.
I bet he hoped for the first option. They buy him a new suit and he starts feeling like a brand new man. Once they return to Springfield, he cleaned the bar and made it look actually presentable.
Wow, non-losers? I never thought I'd see the day.
He serves the gentlemen some of his homemade bourbon. They really like it and offer to sponsor his production.
If your feet touch the ground, we failed.
If his feet touch the ground, that means he succeeded in, Moe's business takes off and he's becoming more and more popular. The guys tell Moe that they now love his whiskey and a couple more things about him.
We love your backstory and we love that suit that hangs off you like silk on a skeleton.
That's a backhanded compliment if I've ever seen one. They tell Moe that starting tomorrow, they'll be selling shares of his company.
All you do is show up at the stock exchange, ring the bell, and you leave a rich man.
There's something about that sentence that I just don't believe.
Enjoy your last night as a Democrat.
Now that's more believable. But as the elevator doors were closing, one of the strings got caught, and Moe's suit ripped completely.
Is it noticeable?
Thank God the kids aren't here.
I was.
Oh, poor Lisa's eyes. Moe is devastated. Without the suit, he's nothing. But Marge compares him to Dumbo, because that's a viable comparison.
So you're saying Moe's Dumbo and we're that flock of racist crows?
Okay, don't get all political now, Lisa. Moe understood what Marge was telling him, and he started feeling better.
It wasn't the suit that made the bourbon, it was me. And I can do anything.
Except stand up while children are present. The next day, Moe shows up without the suit, and no one recognizes him.
Look, it's Quasimodo without the pathos.
Oh no, that's just mean. But Quasimodo got the girl, didn't he? Maybe Moe will get his money.
My face is gonna be on every bottle, and we will only use the finest ingredients made in America.
With that stock, I highly doubt it. So Moe's chances of getting rich and leaving the bar are back to zero. He seems depressed again, and that rope looks incredibly inviting again.
Not today, old friend. But don't worry, holidays are just around the corner.
Way to go, Moe. Now someone get him a new suit before the holidays. Joking about suicide is never a good option, but the Simpsons still do it. They also joke about the apocalypse, but I guess we can let that one slide. This crossover episode has everything, and I mean everything. That's why it's a bit too much. It could have been a movie. Simpsorama, the Futurama crossover episode, starts with Bart's class putting stuff in a time capsule for future generations to open in 1,000 years. Milhouse puts in his lucky rabbit foot, and Bart puts in a sandwich. Yes, a sandwich.
This is the only legacy you'll ever leave.
Better make this count.
That's disgusting. That night, a big storm occurred. Something fell from the sky, but nobody was curious enough to see what it was.
Probably just another piece of America's space junk falling out of orbit.
Bart remembers the good old days when America didn't suck, but frankly, I don't. Well, when everyone went to sleep, somebody broke in. Homer and Bart go to investigate and they find a robot.
Must be a secret government project.
Whoa, what do I look like, a narc?
The robot introduces himself and says his name is Bender, and he comes from the future. Of course, Homer instantly believes him. But Lisa isn't so naive, so she takes Bender to Professor Frink's. Frink asks him what his mission is, why he's here.
To kill Homer Simpson!
Of course he is. He gets a call from his pals from the future, and they ask if he's killed Homer yet.
Why must you kill my dad? Especially when cheeseburgers are doing the work for you.
She's got that right.
We sent Bender back in time to kill Homer before the monsters could evolve from him.
Why doesn't it surprise no one that Homer is somehow responsible for the apocalypse? The whole crew time travels to the present, and they want to kill Homer, but Professor Frink says that maybe they can come up with a solution together. They get to the conclusion that it wasn't only Homer's DNA in the creatures.
And the other person is...
Oh, who's that?
It's me!
So let me take a wild guess. It's one of the children, actually. So they don't have to kill Marge, just the kids.
Or just one of them, if you can figure out which one sired the killer rabbits.
They quickly realizes it's Bart, because who else? But how did he do it? Remember the sandwich and the rabbit leg from the time capsule? Well, they intertwined and created killer rabbits.
Let this be a lesson. Never throw meaningless crap in a time capsule.
How about don't snot in your food? But the good news is they can just dig up the time capsule and destroy the rabbit and sandwich. Just as they were about to do so, the generator that powers the time portal got destroyed, and they all got sucked into the future. Marge suggests that Homer can help get the generator up. I mean, he does work at the nuclear power plant. The guy asks Homer if he's good at his job.
I was voted Employee of the Month as an April Fool's Day joke. Why, you little...
And that's not concerning at all. They think of a way to get rid of the rabbits, but they need to gather them all in one place first.
If there's one thing I know how to do, it's manipulate Bart.
Maybe that's not something worth bragging about.
They're evolving. Wow, that's a first for you, Bart.
I have a feeling that Bart will be merciless towards Lisa in the future. They launch the rabbits into space and manage to get the generator back up. So the Simpsons have safely returned home. They say their goodbyes to Bender, and he travels back to the future.
Thanks, pal.
I guess this episode really shows us that less is more, and that this crossover was maybe taking it a bit too far. Dialing it down? No, let me scratch that. There's nothing calm about this next episode, where Homer divides Springfield in two and starts a war between the rich and poor. A tale of two Springfields starts when Homer wanted to call animal control for a badger in their backyard, but the call didn't go through because they changed the area code number.
The phone company ran out of numbers, so they split the city into 2 area codes.
Okay, no big deal, right?
Geez, you just have to remember 3 extra numbers.
Oh, if only it were that easy, Marge.
Okay, guess not. Cue the drama queen. Homer's mad because no one warned him about this.
They ran those TV commercials about it and that big radio campaign.
But Lenny and Carl reminded him to remember the leaflets which were dropped from a space shuttle and the 2 weeks they spent at Area Code Camp. Doesn't ring a bell. A town meeting is held because of the code change, and the mayor understands that some people are upset.
Especially those of you covered with dynamite. Your fears are groundless.
And she also adds that their complaints are completely moronic. Wait, dynamite? And yes, I agree, the complaints are moronic. So Homer's solution to this whole ordeal is to strap dynamite on him. Okay, got it.
Everyone who got to keep the old lives on the rich side of town.
Oh no, Homer's starting a class war.
You rich snobs aren't pushing us around anymore.
And what are you pathetic slobs going to do about it?
Homer tries to blow himself up, but it doesn't work.
Oh, nice wiring, Bart.
Worked on the test corps.
Homer calls for his fellow 939ers and suggests forming their own city.
There. We're officially a city.
Yeah, because all you need is a sign. Homer becomes the mayor of New Springfield. Lisa says that it is stupid to divide the city over an area code.
It'd be like you and Mom splitting up every time you have a fight.
Lisa, don't give them a challenge. But this division quickly gets out of hand.
I just didn't feel comfortable until I was back here in New Springfield with my own kind.
Her own kind? What is this, 1984? Homer gets angry when he sees that his city is being bashed on TV by the people of Old Springfield. Ken Brockman says that scientists even go so far as to say that the people of New Springfield are less attractive physically.
And while we speak in a well-educated manner, they tend to use lowbrow expressions.
This gets Homer's blood boiling. So he goes to the plant and shuts off electricity for Old Springfield. They retaliate by stealing their beer supplies. Homer one-ups them by cutting their water supply, but this backfires because they find gold at the river bottom.
Thanks, Mayor Simpson. Because of you, we're all taking golden showers.
Oh, that's not. It might sound good, but I promise it's not. Marge says they can't keep fighting with Old Springfield. They're neighbors, after all.
We've got to block them from our sight with a giant wall.
Like the one in Berlin?
Good idea.
And history repeats itself. So Homer builds a wall and consequently loses all support from people, and they all go back to old Springfield.
Well, Dad, you're mayor of a ghost town.
I can't believe those traitors abandoned us.
Homer is upset that the people couldn't bear a single lousy famine. Yeah, blame the people for being a lousy mayor. Homer decides to throw one last punch. He steals the band that was supposed to play in old Springfield.
Homer stole our rock performance. That fat, dumb, and bald guy sure plays some real hardball.
The people of old Springfield riot.
With our ample parking and daily Who concert.
Daily? You sure? But old Springfield ain't playing. They start throwing fireballs at the wall, but the band stops them. They offer a solution no one thought of. Speed dial. They tear the wall down and the whole town enjoys the concert together. I guess all it took was a new Berlin Wall, some garbage, famine, and a Who concert to solve the problem.
Well, Marge, looks like your insane experiment is over.
Her experiment? Oh, he's in Delululand now. Starting a class war over something as simple as area code numbers is something worthy of Homer Simpson only, and taking it a bit too far with the whole dynamite thing. But spending the town's budget on a city sign, Mayor Quimby, you're in big trouble. Town of Springfield is in big financial trouble, so they start collecting taxes left and right. Papa Don't Leech starts with Homer and Grandpa driving home when they have a car crash and drive off the road. He asks Homer to call him an ambulance, and he wants to, but then Grandpa adds he might have to live with him until he recovers.
Eventually I'll die in your home, which will hurt the resale value, but it'll all be...
And Homer begins to suffocate his dad, so he doesn't have to take care of him. Because having the weight of murdering your father is way better than having to nurse him back to health. But, oh well, it was just a dream he was having while driving.
Oh, I was having the most wonderful dream. I always wake up just before the good part.
Homer, you horrible, horrible man. Lisa is selling her cookies to Mayor Quimby when he finds out the town is penniless. He takes this information to the town meeting, and Homer suggests a solution. Homer tells the mayor that Americans all come together in hard times.
So, I'd say we roll up our sleeves and fake a disaster.
Now that's a real plan. They try to do so, but end up losing even more money. Then a real problem solver comes in.
I've gone through the town's financial records, and it turns out there are millions in uncollected city taxes.
Oh, people are gonna be so mad. But a lot of them do pay their debts. Except one. No, not Mr. Burns. He and the mayor have a deal.
Leaving only one outstanding debtor, country music star Lurleen Lumpkin.
Oh yeah, I remember her. The girl Homer used to manage.
Lurleen wanted to bunk his brains out, but I forget how Mom felt about it.
Not too happy, if my memory serves me well. They can't find her and she has by far the biggest debt. Homer thinks Lurleen is miles away, but she was actually hiding in his car. He tells her she can stay with them, but Marge disagrees. Strongly.
I'm taking you to your home before you wreck mine.
But when Marge sees Lurleen lives on the streets, she changes her mind and takes her in.
Well, you're a bigger woman than I am.
Are you calling me fat?
But she's not gonna make it easy on her. Eventually, the cops find her and the judge declares that she is to pay her debt week by week until she pays it off. She gets a job at Moe's and Lenny and Carl both have a thing for her, but she rejects them.
That's like someone who doesn't like hamburgers or hot dogs. What can make her hate men like that?
I have a theory, and it isn't Homer. Lurleen sings a song about her father abandoning her, and Marge connects the dots.
She's been burned by the most important man in her life, her father.
Homer poses a question. How could a man abandon his family?
By which I mean, what is the method he would use, and could anyone do it?
Oh, Homer, don't even think about it. You'd be dead before you even leave the house. Marge decides to find Lurleen's dad no matter what, and when Marge wants something, she goes and gets it. So, she finds Lurleen's dad.
She must be what, 12, 13 by now?
She's 34, and she's having a rough time.
Marge brings Royce to see Lurleen, and she forgives him. They reconnect and have the best time, but Homer is jealous.
He's getting as much love as me. A dad too lazy to run away. Bart, get me my suicide axe.
Homer, don't you think that's a bit too much? Lurleen writes a nice song about her father, and that same night, he abandons her again.
Since her father re-abandoned her, she cut the word pop out of all of our food.
That seems highly unnecessary. Marge tries to cheer her up by saying that her new song is gonna be a hit. But then they hear her song on TV being performed by the Dixie Chicks. Lurleen sees her father on the stage with them and realizes he stole her song.
If you need me, I'll be... Oh, who am I kidding?
No one needs me.
Homer and Marge know they gotta do something, so their solution is to dress up all country and convince Lurleen she shouldn't give so much power to her dad.
It's time for you to take control of your own destiny. You're a door prize.
If only there was someone to tell that to Marge. Lurleen goes straight to the studio to face her dad and give him a piece of her mind.
I'm Lurleen Lumpkin, and he stole your song from me.
What are you gonna do now, tough guy? The Dixie Chicks are onto you. They fire him and hire Lurleen to be their opening act. She thanks Homer and Marge for everything, and Marge sends her off with a message.
If you ever come near Homer again, I'll strangle you with your own hair extensions.
Nobody touches Marge's property. Homer's dreams are a bit extreme, but they don't even compare to the real-life identity theft. The real identity of Seymour Skinner is revealed, and it's something no one saw coming. The principal and the pauper starts when the school throws a surprise party for Skinner for his 20 years as being the principal. But just as he was accepting his cake, a man shouts, saying he's not Seymour Skinner.
I'm Skinner.
Seymour?
Mother! She's my mother!
If you're confused, don't worry, everyone is. Skinner explains that the man is the real Seymour Skinner. The real Skinner explains he's a war hero who was captured and was released just a few days ago.
So what's your story, Seymour? If that is your real name.
Well, obviously it isn't.
He says his real name is Armin Tamzarian. Oh, Bart's gonna have a field day with this one. The fake Skinner explains that he was an orphan who had to join the army, and real Skinner took him under his wing.
My dream is to go back and become principal of the elementary school.
Armin says that's a bit corny, but who's corny now? So when he heard that Sergeant Skinner was presumed dead, Armin thought it was his duty to deliver the news to his mother.
I don't know why I did what I did. What I did was wrong, but I'd do it again.
Maybe don't say that in front of everyone.
I think she knew I wasn't her son, but a lie made us both happier than the truth ever could have.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Get your hands off me!
Please, Mom.
You too, stranger!
They better be careful. She's an old lady. You don't want her to drop, Skinner, or Armin, leaves Springfield life. The school, Edna, his identity. Well, not his, but he kept it warm for all these years.
It's time to pick up where I left off. As a no-good street punk.
Principal Skinner?
Up yours, children.
Oh, he's been waiting to say that. Agnes doesn't like her real son, probably because he's a grown man who won't take her bullying. When Marge asked her how's her new son working out, she trash-talked him good.
Hello, ladies. Is this the line for people who want to badmouth Sergeant Skinner?
The Gossip Girls have gathered. Agnes realizes she never said a nice word to Armin and she feels bad. So they take a trip to Capital City. Homer asks why are Edna and Agnes in the car with him.
We're gonna talk Armin Tamzarian into coming back.
Why is Marge here?
I came up with the idea.
Okay, good explanation, good plan, no complaints. They get to Armin's apartment and he won't come back.
I was born a no-good-nick, and I'll die a no-good-nick.
Now that's the depressed Skinner we all know. Agnes tells him that she didn't raise him like that, but, well, she didn't raise him at all. That's what he thinks, at least.
I'm the only mother you've ever known!
But you have your real son.
You're my real son!
This warms Armin's heart, and scares him a little. So he listens to her. They all get back to Springfield, and nobody cares that he lied, except for the real Skinner, of course.
You can't ask me to disappear just because you like some other guy better.
But Homer has a solution that will keep everyone happy.
But I'm a hero!
And we salute you for it. Now don't come back.
Homer may be a savage, but at least he's brutally honest. But there's still a bit of a puzzle. Armin isn't actually Skinner, but a judge comes forward to make things a bit more clear.
Everything will be just like it was before all this happened, and no one will ever mention it again.
So that's why Skinner is Skinner many years later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Are there any other episodes where The Simpsons just took it way too far?